Stocks connected to the reopening trade are soaring. Hilton, MGM, Live Nation, and Expedia are just some of the names that hit new highs in yesterday's session. Joining us now to talk more about what's working for investors, Barry Knapp, managing partner at Ironsides Macro Economics. And Barry, I guess one of the points in your thesis is that taxes might be going up. We may be seeing interest rates go up. And that could cause investors to think maybe the market has run its course, but you think the reopening trade is still powerful and will reassert itself, and you want to be there.
The broad thesis here is that when we're in the early stages of the business cycle, those cycle forces are just so strong that they really are the dominant factor. So until you get into real policy-related setbacks, in 2010, we had the flash crash when QE1 ended. We had the sovereign debt-related sell-off when QE2 ended, and we had this whole struggle over the debt ceiling. And the point was that was a really slow recovery. We had 4% nominal GDP growth. We're going to have a much stronger recovery this go-around. We're getting a bigger contribution from housing, likely from capital investment. These are factors with much bigger multipliers than the slow driving forward that we had in 2009 and 10 and 11. But still, the only setbacks came from when we had those big policy-related disruptions. The point I'm trying to make here is that the cyclical forces are really considerable. We may very well get a point in June where the Fed starts getting concerned about the level of inflation that they may have kicked off. I would assume that you'd have to push the inflation component of treasuries considerably higher, say through 2.5%. It's at about 215, 220 right now, before you have that sort of a setback. And the tax hikes are definitely coming, but they're coming probably in 2022. And so to get a setback related to that is months or so away. For now, it looks like those forces will overwhelm the disruption that's related to the reopening, which are real, right? I mean, the big cap tech stocks are the flip side of the GameStop saga. They are coming under pressure because they were the big winners during the pandemic, and we are in another one of these reopening inflection points.
You even see the GameStop saga as having to do with reopening, the reemergence. It was like a way to play brick and mortar that, I don't know, was it? Is there going to be brick and mortar GameStop? Is the chain going to just be rejuvenated by the Chewy guy?
Well, I'm not so sure about that. But, when the whole thing occurred, all I could think of was what happened in 2003 after the 2.5-year bear market in internet stocks. And you had this ferocious rally in all the challenged companies that basically drove a couple of hedge funds under. I spoke to a whole bunch of people that worked at hedge funds at that time as well, and they remember it crystal clear. And so if you think about, what just triggered that was challenged bricks and mortar retailers, movie theaters. These are companies that were big losers during the pandemic. But when the pandemic ended, or when in this case, the pandemic ended, in that case, the internet bubble was finally over, the bear market related to it anyway, those stocks really rallied. And so it's a low quality thing that's indicative of early in the business cycle. So for me, when you think about, what you're supposed to do here, buying airlines, buying cruises, casinos, those will work. Those are decent momentum trades that'll work for a time. But what I think really should work is being long industrial companies, being long material companies, energy companies. They were depressed not just from the pandemic, but also from the trade war. And so you've got a 2-year implosion in business activity in those sectors. And those are the ones that are going to have really durable rallies. That's, for me, is the true reopening trade, is the resumption of global manufacturing activity and the reflation of assets, the reflation of commodity prices. That is what really should be durable through this whole cycle.
Shepard Smith here. Thanks for watching CNBC on YouTube.